Okay, so yeah, we're diving deep into porch pirates, but not your typical story though. You guys sent in some articles about iPhone thefts, and it sounds like these porch pirates are using data to steal iPhones right after they're delivered. We're looking at articles from 9 to 5 Mac and CNET, and apparently there's been a big spike in these types of cases, so this is where things get interesting.
Yeah, it's not just random packages disappearing. These are iPhones specifically. And that level of precision makes it seem like something more is going on, maybe some inside information.
Okay, so what are we talking about here?
Well, the articles say that these porch pirates are getting tracking data somehow and using it to know exactly when iPhones are delivered. They know even before the homeowner does.
Whoa, that's crazy. Is that even possible?
More than you might think. Part of why this is working is because some carriers aren't being very secure. For example, AT&T, a lot of times they don't even require signatures for expensive deliveries like iPhones.
So someone orders a brand new iPhone, it gets delivered, and it's just sitting there. A perfect target for anyone with this stolen data.
Exactly, and leaving packages unattended, especially valuable ones, it just makes them such easy targets. Combine that with real-time tracking data, and it's asking for trouble.
This is wild. I get nervous even when I order something kind of expensive and I'm not home for the delivery. Imagine ordering a new phone and it's gone, like right away.
Total nightmare. And the thing is, where is this data coming from? The articles suggest that maybe it's rogue employees within these companies, like maybe they're selling information.
Wow, that's crazy, like a total breach of trust. Has AT&T even said anything about this?
Nope. So far, AT&T and FedEx are keeping quiet. No official statements yet. I think that lack of transparency is a little concerning.
Definitely. Especially with how big this problem seems to be. Wait, you mentioned FedEx. I thought this was all about AT&T deliveries.
Right, most of the reports are about AT&T, but FedEx is often the one actually delivering the packages. The article from CNET mentioned that law enforcement is investigating these thefts now, so it seems like they're taking it seriously. But how FedEx is involved is still kind of unclear.
This whole thing is raising a lot of questions. What about other carriers? Do they have better security measures?
That's a really good question. And it makes you think about whether there needs to be more transparency across the whole industry. Some carriers might be stricter about security, but honestly, no system is perfect. There's always going to be some risk.
So what can people actually do to protect themselves? Besides hoping they're home when the package arrives, obviously.
Well, the 95 Mac article had a good tip. Choose carriers and companies that require signatures on delivery, especially for expensive stuff.
That makes sense. So at least your package isn't just sitting there.
Exactly. Requiring a signature means someone actually has to be there to receive it. Makes it a lot harder for porch pirates to steal it.
Yeah, seems simple enough. But I wonder how many people actually choose that option. Is that even offered for all deliveries?
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's not always an option, unfortunately. Plus, even with a signature, there's still a chance that a neighbor could accept a package by mistake. It all comes back to data security and how vulnerable our information can be.
So this is bigger than just porch pirates. It's about data being used in bad ways.
Exactly. This iPhone thing is just one example. It shows how our personal data can be stolen and used against us.
It's kind of scary to think about how much information is out there about all of us. Our shopping habits, our addresses, everything.
For sure. And the more we shop online and get things delivered, the more opportunities there are for data theft.
Okay, but let's say you're stuck with a company that doesn't have great security. What can you do to protect yourself then?
There are still some things you can do. Be careful about what you share online. Don't overshare on social media. Don't just click on links in emails. And think about using a VPN. It adds another layer of security when you're browsing online or making purchases.
A VPN, just to clarify for people who might not know, that's a virtual private network. It encrypts your internet traffic and hides your IP address.
Yeah.
So it's harder for people to track you or steal your data.
Right. Think of it like a shield for your information as you're using the internet.
Okay, that makes sense. So VPN, be careful what you share online and choose signature requirements whenever you can. What else?
You could also look into secure delivery options, like package lockers, or having things sent to your work or a neighbor you trust if you know you won't be home.
Right, anything that keeps your package from being an easy target.
Exactly. And beyond what we can do individually, it's also important to hold these companies accountable. We need to demand better security and more transparency from them.
So raise the bar for everyone. Make it harder for these data breaches to happen in the first place.
Exactly. We have to work together on this. Consumers can make a difference by demanding better practices.
I like that. We're not totally helpless in this.
Absolutely. The more we learn and talk about this stuff, the more we can push for a safer online experience for everyone. Think about it. If enough people start asking companies about their data security, those companies are going to have to listen. They'll see that people care and that security matters.
So it's about being informed and speaking up. We have a voice, and we should use it.
Right. It's about changing the conversation from just blindly trusting companies to making informed choices.
I like that. Informed consent. That puts the power back in our hands.
Exactly. It's about realizing that we have a choice and that it matters.
This whole conversation has really made me think about data security in this digital world.
It's a complex issue that affects all of us.
And the more we rely on technology, the more important it's going to be to understand these risks and protect ourselves.
And the more we rely on online shopping and deliveries, the more opportunities there are for this kind of data theft.
Okay, but let's say you're already stuck in a contract with a company that doesn't exactly have the best security practices. What can you do to protect yourself then?
Well, there are still things you can do. Being mindful of the information you share online is really important. So, don't overshare on social media. Be careful about clicking links in emails. And you could consider using a VPN for another layer of security, especially when you're browsing online or buying things.
A VPN. Just for folks who might not know, that's a virtual private network. It encrypts your internet traffic and masks your IP address, which makes it harder for snoopers to track you or steal your data.
Exactly. It's like a digital shield protecting your information as it travels across the internet.
Okay, so VPN, be careful what you share online, and opt for signature requirements whenever possible. Anything else?
Let me think. You could also explore secure delivery options, things like package lockers or having deliveries sent to your workplace. Or maybe a trusted neighbor if you know you won't be home.
Right, anything that prevents the package from being an easy target.
Exactly. And, beyond these individual actions, I think it's also really crucial to hold these companies accountable. We need to demand better security measures and more transparency from the companies we're giving our information to.
So it's about raising the bar for everyone, making these data breaches harder to pull off in the first place.
Exactly. It's a collective effort. Consumers actually have the power to influence change by demanding better practices from companies.
I love that. It's empowering to know we're not totally hopeless.
Not at all. And the more we educate ourselves and each other, the more we can push for a safer and more secure online experience for everyone. Just imagine if enough people start asking these companies about their data security practices. They'll have to listen. They'll realize that consumers are paying attention and that security matters.
So it's about being informed and vocal. We have a voice and we need to use it.
Exactly. It's about changing the conversation, shifting the focus from just blind trust to informed consent.
Informed consent.
I like that. Puts the power back in our hands.
Right. It's about recognizing that we have a choice and that our choices matter.
This whole conversation has been really eye-opening. The complexities of data security in the digital age are fascinating.
It is a multifaceted issue with huge implications. And as we rely more and more on technology, it's only going to become more important to understand these issues and advocate for our own security. This is a lot to think about. It feels like we've just scratched the surface here. There's so much more to this whole data security thing in this digital world.
Definitely. And it's always changing. What we know about data security today could be totally different tomorrow. That's why it's so important to stay informed and be able to adapt.
So let's recap. What have we learned about this whole Porch pirate iPhone thing? We've got data theft, maybe from people within these companies. They're targeting iPhone deliveries because there aren't strict signature requirements.
Right. And remember, it's not just about stolen packages. It's about this bigger vulnerability we all have in our data-driven world. The fact that someone could get access to and use delivery tracking information, it makes you wonder about the safety of our personal data in general.
We talk about some things we could do to protect ourselves, like choosing carriers carefully, being mindful of what we do online, and using a VPN for extra security.
Those are all great steps to take. But beyond what we can do individually, we can't forget about the power of collective action. We need to keep pushing these companies to make data security and transparency a priority.
So basically demand better and don't settle for anything less.
Exactly. Consumers have a lot of power if they realize it. Companies pay attention to what people want. And if enough people start caring about data security, those companies will have to step up.
So it's about raising awareness, talking about this stuff, and making informed choices.
Precisely. We can actually shape the future of data security by being informed, being proactive, and speaking up about what we expect. This case with the iPhones, even though it's a bad thing, it can be a wake-up call for all of us.
Definitely has been for me. I'm going to be thinking twice about every purchase I make online and every package I get delivered from now on.
That awareness is the first step to making a change. And remember, it's not just about protecting ourselves, it's about creating a safer and more secure digital world for everyone.
Absolutely. Well, this has been a really interesting look into the world of data security and porch pirates. Thanks for all the insights.
My pleasure.
And to our listener, we hope this has given you some things to think about. We're relying more and more on technology these days, so it's important to understand the risks and do what we can to protect ourselves. But even more than that, we need to remember that we have a voice and we can use it to make a difference. The more we demand better security from these companies, the more likely it is that we'll get it. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.